Hey guys, I'm back again to talk to you about a title that I was revisiting on my channel some time ago. Some of you, especially my Twitch viewers, may have had a very different first experience with this game than I did. With that being said, I'm Nostalgia Nate, and this is our next video in the replaying series. Buckle up and stay a while, because this is going to be a wild ride.
Crazy Taxi!
The first time I'd ever laid eyes on Crazy Taxi was probably around 9 or 10 years old. My cousins had the game for the PlayStation 2, and my older sister was obsessed with it. At the time, I had much bigger fish to fry. Anyway, my first encounter with the game was mainly as a spectator. I had never been to an arcade at the time, and as far as I knew, it was just another PS2 title. Fast forward to present day, and I was frantically looking for something different to play on my Twitch streams. Lo and behold, there it was on my collection shelf, bright yellow and in perfect condition to be played. I expected to follow my normal routine of playing on stream, then switching to something else in my collection once the stream was over. However, when the stream finally came to an end, I found that I couldn't put it down so easily. Whether it was due to its addicting gameplay or its time constraints that made you always want to try for a higher score, I simply couldn't stop. Those who were in my Twitch chat informed me that their first experiences with the game were vastly different from my own, involving a trip to the arcade as opposed to relaxing at home and enjoying it on console. Hell, many of them had no idea that the game was ever ported to console at all. That being said, I want you guys to let me know how you first experienced the game in the comments, and if you have no experience at all with Crazy Taxi, allow me to get you up to speed. Crazy Taxi is a subversive take on the racing genre of games where you choose one of 4 characters and try to pick up and drop off as many customers as possible as quickly as possible before the time runs out. You get cash bonuses for doing crazy stunts and based on how efficiently you get your passengers from point A to point B. The original game was developed by Hitmaker and published by Sega. While originally released in arcades, the game was later ported to the Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and PC. Sega currently has a patent on the core gameplay mechanic, causing clones, such as The Simpsons Road Rage, to get in some serious legal troubles, which were eventually settled out of court. As I mentioned earlier, Crazy Taxi is a racing game, but only in the sense that you're racing against the clock. You'll choose a character and be dropped into the game world where an abundance of customers will be waiting to hitch a ride with you. In the first installment of Crazy Taxi, you can only pick up one passenger at a time, and need to go as quickly as you can to drop them off at their destination. You receive tips based on how wild the ride is and how swift you are in getting people where they need to go. If your timer hits 0 before you arrive at the destination, the passenger will jump out of your cab mid-ride, because death is definitely a healthy alternative to being late to your destination, and you get nothing for your efforts. To make it easier to know where you're going, there's always going to be an arrow above your head to guide you in the right direction in lieu of a map. There's no out-of-bounds areas in Crazy Taxi. Instead, it seems like the developers opted for walls, invisible or otherwise, to make sure the players can't stray too far from the game objective. In contrast to modern driving systems that have buttons to reverse and accelerate built in, the console version of this game has a one-button toggle that allows you to switch between the reverse and drive gears. This is to mirror the arcade version's actual gear shift. The overall experience of these mechanics have been described as easy to learn, but hard to master, a description which perfectly fits within the business model of an arcade. The original Crazy Taxi has 4 main characters to choose from. They all have wiki fandom backstories from God knows where, but you can read those on your own time. I'm mainly going to be going over the pros and cons to each character in the context of their in-game performance. Axel is the well-rounded generic taxi driver. He's the Scorpion, Killick, or Mario of his respective genre. His cab is the best for beginners to pick up because it's pretty good at a little bit of everything. Handling, acceleration, and deceleration are usually a breeze with Axel, but more advanced players usually have a preference for characters that specialize in something as opposed to a jack of all trades. Gina has the best acceleration, deceleration, and braking. You'd play her if you want to have a better overall handling of your vehicle in your playstyle. This is at the cost of speed, however, and for many players, the controls can come off as kinda rigid if you're not used to them. Our boy Joe has the fastest floor speed of any of the characters, which makes him sound like an optimal choice, but this is at the cost of control. Joe isn't as effective at weaving between traffic, near misses, or tight turns, but he can definitely get your passengers to their destination in a flash. He's also one of the most popular characters in the series, earning him a spot in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Gus has the heaviest cab in the game with the slowest acceleration and deceleration times, but that doesn't make him any less of a contender. His weighty taxi is amazing at off-roading and forcing other cars off the road with ease. Once you learn the more advanced techniques of the game, Gus becomes one of the most optimal choices for ripping it up on the road. Overall, character choice might affect how you perform in the game. I'm partial to Gus myself, but it's ultimately your playstyle that will determine how well you do on the map. Speaking of the map, let's talk about level design a little more. The main map you play on in Crazy Taxi is based off San Francisco and other cities on the West Coast. It's always sunny with tons of hills and bustling traffic that you're going to be required to weave through. The NPCs themselves are a tad generic, but you can tell the voice actors had a blast with some of their lines.
Okay, let's have some fun.
The main appeal of the map to many players is the existence of real-life locations in the game such as KFC and Pizza Hut. This was a fun and entertaining form of product placement that didn't continue in later games due to licensing issues. That just about wraps up all you need to know about Crazy Taxi from a gameplay perspective. I needed to make this video to remind everybody that this game exists and it's a ton of fun. While I can't thoroughly pick this game apart like I would do a 3D platformer, I hope I've adequately conveyed what a treat it is to play this game in my downtime. What drew me most to this game are the bright colors and the fast-paced action that it provides. It's a game that isn't super costly with near infinite replayability. That's something that the current gaming landscape just can't seem to get right for some reason. I strongly encourage anybody who's into racing games, wonky game physics, and 90s retro aesthetics to pick up a copy of Crazy Taxi. Steam is the most accessible way to currently purchase it, not sponsored or anything, just saying. Personally, I find that it's exceptionally good for its ability to be picked up and put down at any time without consequence, which is super convenient for busy people who are working or going to school or both, such as myself. That's about all I got for you guys. As always, if you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, hit the thumbs down, and of course leave a comment to tell me if you have any memories about the game you'd like to share. If you really liked the video, please go ahead and subscribe and check out some of the other videos I've released. It really helps out the channel. Additionally, I do stream on Twitch, and links to all my social media stuff will be in the description below. Next week, we're getting back into Crash Bandicoot territory, so keep your eyes peeled for my Crash 2 retrospective. Until next time, I've been Nostalgia Nate. Don't forget to give yourself some love today, and I'll see you guys soon.